Happy New Year. It is 2025. I can't believe that we're already in a new year. Time just flies by. The older I get, the quicker it goes by. So in January, I always do a no spend month. I don't buy any extra things that we may want. I only buy necessity type things. Going to the grocery store, I don't get a whole lot of extra junk food or extra foods. I try to stick to my grocery list as best as I can. Sometimes it's really hard, especially if the kids go with me, but I try really hard to stick with that grocery list. One way that really helps me do that is by meal planning. If you guys have watched any of my videos, you know that I love to have a meal plan. I have tried going without meal plans and the week is just completely chaotic. By the time I'm done with work, getting the kids home from school, doing homework, all of our extracurricular activities that we have going on, I have to have that meal plan. It just makes life so much simpler. And something else that is making my life so much simpler is having a bunch of Crockpot meals already in the freezer. All I have to do is thaw them out, toss them in the crock pot, and dinner is done within 4 to 8 hours, however long you have to cook the meals. So today I'm going to be prepping some of those crock pot freezer meals for this month. All of these recipes are from the family freezer. I have purchased one of her cookbooks. It's a digital cookbook, and everything that we've tried has been pretty good. There have been a couple of things that have not really been one of our favorites, but of course we don't want to waste food, so we did go ahead and eat it. But I just make a note of that, like we really didn't like this one, so you know, I'll try another one. So the ones that I'm going to be prepping today, we have not tried, but they sound really, really good. So the meals that I'm gonna make today are red pepper chicken, Asian chicken lettuce wraps, turkey black bean chili, and a chicken curry. If I have time, I'm also going to make 2 shepherd pies that I can go ahead and just pop those in the freezer. Now these 2 meals are not from the family freezer, and I will have to actually cook the hamburger meat, make some mashed potatoes, and put it all together, but hopefully I don't run out of time. It is New Year's Day and we're gonna be having dinner at my in-laws later, so I am kind of on a little bit of a time crunch, but that's okay. Another thing about these family freezer meals is it really does not take that long to put them together. I'm going to be making 2 of each of these meals. I'm going to be using the family freezer gallon size reusable bags. I really, really like these. Using Ziploc bags can get a little expensive. These are reusable. You just wash them by hand. You can't put them in the microwave and you can't put them in the dishwasher, but they really hold up well. I've had them for a while. The zip on them, the little ZIPLOC, really good and tight. I haven't had anything leak out on me in the freezer before everything is frozen. One downside is, and I've only had it happen to one, but it did stain. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has stained the bag. I think in this one I made like a cabbage roll soup or something like that, and it did stain the bag. I let it soak for hours with soap in it, soap and water, and I just can't get the stain. I can't get it off, but it's really not that big of a deal. And like I said, it only did it on one of them, and I did 2 of the cabbage roll soup, so I'm not sure why it did that, but it's okay. So these are sold on her website. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for them because they were on sale whenever I bought them. They do occasionally go on sale, but if you want, you can check it out. I'll link it down below as well. I am not getting any kind of kickback. I'm not sponsored. I just really enjoy the bags, and they work very nicely. And you know, you can find some if those are not the ones you want. They have them on Amazon as well. You can search for reusable Ziploc bags and find those on Amazon. With these Crockpot freezer meal preps, you don't cook any of the food. You put it all in the bag, you freeze it. That way, whenever you go to cook it, everything is ready for you. Occasionally, you may have to add something else on that specific day that's not already in your bag, but most of the recipes that I have tried, everything goes in the Ziploc bag and you just toss it in the freezer. When I purchased the one cookbook, it came with printable labels that you can print out, put on your Ziploc bag. It's really pretty. I actually, because I don't want to waste my ink on my printer, I'm cheap that way, I just use masking tape and write on there and write the instructions for it. So, but if you want, you can definitely print it out, make it all cute and everything. It is 1:30 in the afternoon. So hopefully this is going to be easy breezy and only take maybe an hour or two. So let's get this red pepper chicken in the bags. I also have these little stands that you put the Ziploc bags in to stand them upright. It makes it so easy to put the stuff in. You're not trying to have to hold the bag. I got these for either a birthday or Christmas gift, but I'll put the link for these down in the description as well. I'm also going to make it easy on myself and use my little veggie chopper. I got this for a gift as well, and I will link it down below in the description. You can use fresh veggies or you can use frozen veggies from the grocery store. I choose to go ahead and use fresh ones and chop them myself. I'm gonna actually use a bowl just to put all my scraps in to make cleanup much easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim the fat off of the chicken. Now this recipe called for 1 to 2 pounds of chickens, boneless, skinless chicken. So in this pack was a little over 4 pounds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use 2 full breasts and then half of a breast because I do have 5 people to feed. And sometimes I do like to have leftovers, take it in my lunch and not have to eat out for lunch whenever I'm working. Now, I could have went ahead and just chopped up both onions and just divided it, but I wanted to make sure I had 1 full onion in each bag. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm using the same knife that I used on the chicken because it doesn't really matter. The onion is going to be going into the bag with the chicken, so it doesn't matter that it's getting cross-contaminated. All right, so I have my 4 red bell peppers. What I do with veggie scraps, like the top of a red bell pepper or green bell pepper, I just go ahead and put them in a regular Ziploc freezer bag, and I store these in my freezer so that whenever I want to make a bone broth, I can use these veggies for that bone broth. That way, you're not wasting any of your vegetables. So I'm just slicing the peppers. This meal is actually a keto meal. So if you are going low carb for the new year, this would be perfect. All right, so I'm gonna mince up 4 of these garlic cloves. I need a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. One teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. All right, and that completes 1 meal. Actually 2, that completes 2 of our freezer meals. So I'm just gonna seal this up. Try to get as much air out as you can. Whenever I'm ready to cook this, I will pull this out the night before, put it in my refrigerator so that it can be thawing out. And then that morning, I will get my crock pot out, dump everything from the bag into the crock pot, and I'll cook it for 3 to 6 hours or until the chicken is cooked through. The next meal I'm going to put together is chicken curry. So the first thing I'm gonna do is trim the chicken. For this recipe, you need 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken, tomato paste, which I completely forgot to get tomato paste from the store. Hopefully the recipe still turns out. You're also gonna need coconut milk, a small onion, 2 cups of frozen peas, tomato sauce, garlic, honey, curry powder, salt, and crushed red pepper. So let's get all this chicken fat trimmed. And again, I'm gonna do 2.5 pounds of the chicken, and I want leftovers. If you were putting this meal together in the morning, what you would want to do is in a separate bowl, you're gonna combine the tomato sauce, garlic, honey, and seasonings, and then set it to the side. And then once you put everything in your crock pot, you'll pour that sauce over top. You don't have to use the separate bowl when you're doing it as the freezer prep. But I'm going to go ahead and mix those together in a bowl and go ahead and pour it over the chicken, and then I'll put the rest of the ingredients on top of that and then put it in the freezer. Again, you do not have to do this when you're doing it in the freezer. To use 2 tablespoons of curry powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon crushed red pepper. My bowl is almost too small. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this over the chicken. I need 2 cups of frozen peas. And then 1 can of coconut milk in each bag. So you want to cook this on low for 8 hours. Four meals done so far. The next meal that I'm going to be making is Asian chicken lettuce wraps. However, I don't have ground chicken, but I do have ground turkey. You can substitute the ground chicken with either ground turkey or ground beef. So if you wanted to do one of those, you could do that. I'm gonna use the ground turkey that I have. I Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is do one with ground turkey and then one with ground beef, because I have some ground beef already thawed out and this turkey is frozen. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I scored on this hamburger meat. It was 50% off at Aldi because the sell-by date was for today, January 1st. And I'm gonna be using it today, so perfect. I got it for 50% off. Okay, let me get my bags ready. So for the ingredients on this, you're gonna need, like I said, 2 pounds of either ground chicken, ground beef, or ground turkey, red bell pepper, 2 large carrots grated, 4 cloves of garlic minced, low sodium soy sauce, ketchup, honey, and crushed red pepper flakes. Unfortunately, I do not have low sodium soy sauce. I only have regular. All right, so this is almost 2.5 pounds. I'm just gonna go ahead and use all of it in this. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and weigh it out because this package is a 3-pound pack of ground turkey. So I'll just get 2 pounds out and then I'll put the other half in a Ziploc freezer bag and put it in the freezer for another day. All right, it calls for red bell pepper, but I used all of my red bell peppers in the red pepper chicken, so I'm just gonna use these. It's not a problem. It's not gonna make that big of a difference. Now it does say to dice these. The next thing I'm gonna do is grate 2 large carrots. I love this little grater. It is the best invention ever, and I will definitely link it down in the description. I got it from Amazon. Now time for the soy sauce. So you're gonna use a 1/4 cup. A 1/4 cup of ketchup. One tablespoon of honey in each bag. And a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. All right, so this is my Asian beef lettuce wraps. Low, 4 to 6 hours. So whenever I put these on my meal plan and I do my grocery list, I'll just make sure that I put either iceberg lettuce or Boston bib lettuce on there so that we can actually do the wraps. So far I have 6 meals and it is now 3:05, and I've had to stop quite a few times to change out the battery on my camera. So not too bad. So far we're in an hour and a half and I already have 6 meals ready to go. I love this Crockpot freezer meal prep. So I'm gonna go put these in the freezer. All right, the next meal that I'm going to make is turkey black bean chili. I'm only going to do one of these because I have that 1 pound of turkey left over, and I don't want to have to thaw out another pack just to do this. So I am going to go ahead and just dump this into my bag. I need 28 ounces of tomato sauce. A can of diced tomatoes. 2 cans of black beans, drained and rinsed. So I'm gonna do that in my colander. It calls for half of a 1 pound bag of frozen corn. I don't wanna have to leave, this is only 12 ounces. I don't wanna have to leave just a few ounces in the freezer. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put the whole bag in there. And it calls for 2 large garlic cloves. These are kind of small, so I'm going to go ahead and just do 4 of them. 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of oregano. Just dump the rest of it in there. I have to add that to my grocery list for next week. And then 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And I don't have that much, so I'll just finish that off and add that to my grocery list. And that's it. That's everything for the turkey, what was it called? Turkey black bean chili. I'm gonna cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. All right, so in my pan, I'm going to brown some hamburger meat. I have about 2, not sure how many pounds this is, 2.3 pounds, so almost 2.5 pounds. Just trying to break it up into smaller pieces. In this pot, I'm gonna cook the potatoes. I have about 10 potatoes, I think, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 potatoes. Just gonna cut them up a little bit. Just gonna add some salt to the potatoes. Going to add in 1 onion. And I have probably about 8 cloves of garlic, diced or minced. Add in some onion powder. I'm gonna add in a little bit of garlic powder. And let that keep browning a little bit until the onions are more translucent. All right, so I'm gonna drain all the fat off of this and then just set it to the side. So for the vegetables, I'm gonna be using the mixed vegetables. I don't particularly care for frozen green beans, but that's what Aldi had. So I'll use 1 bag for each pan that I make. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the shepherd pies together before my potatoes are done. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the hamburger meat in and then the veggies on top, and then the potatoes, once they're done, will go on top of that. Normally, whenever I make this, I use the Bob Evans sour cream and chives mashed potatoes, but I'm trying to get away from using pre-made foods that is full of preservatives and ingredients that we don't really need for like our dinner foods and things. So I'm hoping that my mashed potatoes turn out pretty good and kind of taste similar to the Bob Evans. We'll see. Hopefully they do. I'm gonna pick the green beans out because y'all, I do not like frozen green beans. If you like them, leave them in, but I don't care for them. I'm gonna try to pick out as many as I can. I know it's wasting food, but I just don't like them. I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of these sweet peas that I used in the one dish, so I don't have to put them back into the freezer and then take a chance of them getting freezer burn and all that good stuff. All right, so it's gonna be hard to mash these in that big pot that I was using to cook them in, so I'm just gonna use the same pan that I was using for the hamburger meat. So I don't have a whole lot of sour cream, but I'm gonna use what I have. I'm going to add some garlic salt instead of regular salt and some onion powder. Use just a little bit more milk. I'm gonna give it a little taste test. See how they are. Not too shabby, but I'm gonna use a little more, actually, a little more garlic. Add just a little bit of garlic powder. Another taste test. Perfect, very good. May add just a little extra salt once I get it spread out to the pan. We shred our own cheese now. I used to buy the shredded kind in the bags, but there are so many preservatives in that to keep the cheese from sticking together like this is sticking together. And it's just not good for you. So in 2025, I'm really trying to cook more from scratch. Higher protein meals. This is not a high protein meal, obviously, with all the carby veggies and mashed potatoes, but it is all from scratch. So that is my goal anyways, to cook more from scratch and not eat so much processed foods. Now, if you want to add more cheese to this, obviously you can. That's just all I have shredded up. It is now 4:30. This took a lot longer than the Crockpot meals because I had to cook everything. So still, we started at 1:30. It is now 4:30, 3 hours. I don't even know, I lost count of how many meals I have now for this upcoming month and going into the next month as well. So what I'm gonna do is cover this with, I'm gonna wrap it a few times with saran wrap, and then I'm gonna cover it with aluminum foil and label what is in here. So what I'll do is pull this out the night before, let it thaw, and then I'll pop it in the oven and let it just bake until it's heated through, basically, because everything is done. Okay, so I have 9 meals for this month. All I have to do with these is put them in the crock pot, let them cook. This I just have to heat up in the oven. Dinner is done. It's gonna be so nice on those busy evenings. We have youth fair coming up for Bella to show her hog, and he goes off to auction this month. So this is gonna be so nice to have during the month. And I still have a few out in the freezer from the last time I did a freezer meal prep. So hopefully these taste good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.